System of equations. First, we need to know what the definition of system of equations is. A system of equations is a collection of two or more equations with the same set of variables. To solve by graphing with the example given, y equals x and y equals negative 3x plus 4, we first start with y equals x and we plot the points for the y-intercept, which is 0, and then we plot the point for the slope. So from 0, 0, we go up 1, right 1, and we draw a line through those 2 points. Then we graph the equation y equals negative 3x plus 4. Here we need to identify the y-intercept and the slope. The y-intercept b equals 4, and the slope m equals negative 3. So we go up to positive 4 on the graph. From there we go down 3, right 1, and we draw a line through those 2 points. Now we need to identify where they meet. And if we look, we find that they meet at exactly 1, 1. So our answer. Another example using y equals negative x plus 1 and y equals negative x minus 3. For the first example, we need to identify both the y-intercept and the slope. The y-intercept in this case is 1, and the slope we would identify as negative 1. There's not a number in front of the x, but when there's not a number in front of a variable, we always identify that as 1. So we would then graph that by going up 1 for the y-intercept. From there, we would go down 1, right 1 to plot the slope. From there, we would graph a line through those 2 points. For the second example, we would again identify the y-intercept and the slope. The y-intercept would be negative 3, and the slope again would be negative 1. From here, we would go down 3, plot a point. From that point, we would go down 1, right 1, and we would draw a line through those 2 points. We then would identify that these 2 points are parallel lines. So our answer to where they cross would be no solution because they will never cross. The next example is also a special circumstance. If we look at this, our two equations are y equals 2x plus 4 and 1/2 y minus x equals 2. In the first equation, we can just identify the slope and the y-intercept. The y-intercept, if we look at this, is 4. The slope is whatever comes before the x, so it is 2. We'll go ahead and graph that line by plotting points. We will go up 4 on the y-axis, and then from there we would go up 2, right 1 for the slope. We would draw a line through those 2 points. This is the red line in this example. For the second one, however, we're going to have to solve it for y and put it in y equals mx plus b form. So first we would add the x because it is subtracted to both sides. Then we would be left with 1/2 y equals x plus 2. From there we have to get rid of the 1/2. And in order to get rid of a fraction, we would multiply by its reciprocal, which is 2 over 1. So multiply each thing in the equation by 2. So we have y left on the left-hand side and 2x plus 4 on the right side. What we notice now is that our equations are identical to each other, giving us the exact same slope and the exact same y-intercept, creating the exact same line. So both lines end up being the exact same, so our answer is infinitely many solutions. The next thing that we're going to cover in regards to systems of equations is substitution. If you're given the equations y equals x plus 2 and y equals 5, we're going to be plugging in the 5 for y. So in this situation, we would have y equals 5 equals x plus 2. When we plug in the 5, it changes our equation to 5 equals x plus 2. We would then have to solve for x. So we would subtract 2 from both sides, giving us 5 minus 2, which would be 3. So x equals 3. So that's what we did to solve for x. Now, we can either solve for y or identify that we've already been given what y is by being told y equals 5. If we do decide to solve for y, we would have x equals 3 that we have found, and we would go ahead and plug in that information into the equation. So y equals 3 plus 2, y equals 5. So our answer in x comma y would be 3 comma 5. Another example, if we have the equations y equals 7 minus x and y equals 3, we would plug in 3 for the y value in the first equation. So our new equation would be 3 equals 7 minus x. We would then have to subtract x from both sides, giving us negative 4 equals negative x. We would then have to divide both sides by negative 1 to get x by itself. When we do that, we end up with x equals positive 4. When we get that answer, we can then either already realize that our answer is y equals 3, or we can plug it in just to verify it. So y equals 7 minus 4 would be y equals 3. So our final answer would be 4 comma 3.